You know, we've all heard it a million times. When you're sick, the best thing you can possibly do is get some rest. Right? Well, what if I told you that advice isn't just a little off? What if it's actually dangerous? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the very real and very hidden risks of bed rest in hospitals.
I mean, think about it for a second. When a friend or a family member is sick, what's the one thing we all hope for them? What's that core wish we send their way?
Yeah, that's it. Peace, comfort, and of course, rest. It's just baked into how we think about getting better. Rest equals recovery. It's that simple.
But, and here's the big twist. What if that very thing, that rest we wish for them, is actually doing more harm than good? What if lying perfectly still in a hospital bed is one of the riskiest things a person can do? It sounds crazy, I know.
So, this whole idea brings us to a really important medical concept, one that completely flips our understanding of bed rest on its head. It's something called immobilization syndrome.
Okay, so what is that exactly? Look, immobilization syndrome isn't just feeling a bit groggy or weak from being in bed. No. It's a full-blown cascade of negative changes, pathological changes actually, that ripple through almost every single system in the body. We're talking heart, lungs, muscles, bones, you name it. And the trigger? It's simply inactivity.
And get this isn't some slow, creeping thing that happens over weeks. Oh no, the research is pretty shocking. For an older person, especially one who already has some mobility issues, just one day, we're talking 24 hours of total bed rest, can be enough to cause some serious deconditioning. It starts that fast.
So where does all this damage start to show up? Well, let's dive into the most immediate and honestly the most visible effect of just putting the body on standby. And that is the shockingly rapid decline of muscle and strength. Okay, I want you to just stare at this number for a second. 5%. What do you think that could be? It might not sound like a lot, right? But in the context of the human body, believe me, it is a huge deal, especially when it happens quickly.
So that 5%, that's the average amount of thigh muscle mass that older immobile patients lost in just 13 days of being in the hospital. Let that sink in. In less than 2 weeks, a huge chunk of the very muscle you need just to stand up and walk can literally vanish.
In this chart right here, it really paints the picture. On one side, you see the muscle mass when patients were admitted, and then look at that drop after only 13 days of being immobile. That's the 5% we're talking about, visualized. But here's where it gets really interesting. What happens when patients are kept mobile?
See, it's not just about the size of the muscle, it's about what it can do. It's about strength. Immobile patients lost a whopping 12% of their knee strength, but the mobile patients, this is the kicker. They didn't just hold steady. They actually got stronger while they were in the hospital. Instead of deconditioning, they were actively recovering. The difference is just staggering.
But the story doesn't stop with our leg muscles. Not at all. To really get why being immobile is so bad for us, we've got to start from the ground up. Literally. With a part of our body that, let's be honest, we all take for granted. Our feet.
Even Leonardo da Vinci was onto something here. He called the human foot a masterpiece of engineering. And he was right. It's not just a slab of bone and muscle to stand on. It's this incredibly complex bit of biological tech. And as we're about to see, it's a critical communication hub for your entire body.
So, how does this all work? Well, think of the soles of your feet like super sensitive antennas. They are packed with these little sensors, they're called mechanoreceptors, that feel pressure. Every time you stand up, every step you take, these sensors are firing off a constant stream of signals to your brain. It's like a live data feed telling your brain exactly where you are in space. And that feedback is essential. It's what lets your brain maintain muscle tone, control your posture. Basically, it keeps your whole system online. But when you're on bed rest, that antenna goes dark. The signals stop. And the brain, which is now starved of all that crucial data, basically tells the muscles, all right, guys, nothing to do here, power down.
Okay, so we've got the muscles and the nervous system taking a hit. But the damage doesn't stop there. Not even close. Being immobile for a long time is like playing a dangerous waiting game, one that sets off this cascade of risks all through your body. Let's look beyond the muscles for a minute. Your heart, it gets deconditioned. Your aerobic capacity can plummet by 25% in just 3 weeks. Your bones, without the stress of holding you up, they start to weaken. It's a condition called disuse osteopenia. And your circulation, well, that's a big one. When you're not moving, your leg muscles aren't helping pump blood back to your heart, so it can just pool, and that seriously raises the risk of getting a dangerous blood clot, a DVT. It really is a full-body problem.
All right, I know that was a lot of doom and gloom, but here's the good news. This is where the story takes a turn. Because if being immobile is the problem, the solution is actually wonderfully simple. It's movement. Let's talk about the power of being proactive.
So a really groundbreaking study tested this simple, almost obvious, but totally revolutionary idea. We all know you can spend a long time waiting in the emergency department, right? Usually stuck in a bed. So these researchers asked a brilliant question. Why wait? What if we start physical therapy right here in the ED and fight this thing before it even has a chance to start?
And the results? Well, you can see them right here, and they are crystal clear. In the group that got PT right there in the emergency department, not a single one of them developed immobilization syndrome. Zero. Nada. Now look at the other group, the one that got the usual care. 2 of them did. Now sure, it's a small study, but the message is just so powerful. Early movement is medicine.
So all of this, everything we've talked about, it leads to this one really profound and totally counterintuitive conclusion. In a hospital, the very place you go to get better, sometimes the single most dangerous position you can be in is lying down.
And that leaves us with one last, really important question to think about. Knowing all this, knowing the very real dangers of just lying still, how do we start to redesign the system? How do we change the culture of care so that movement, not bed rest, becomes the automatic default for recovery?